Anytime I'm trying to navigate public transportation in a new city, it's always a bit of a daunting task. The good news is that paying for your fare on Boston's subway really is not that difficult. Also, Boston Subway is known as the T, which is what I'm going to refer to it as in this video. Paying for your fare to ride the T is not like New York or other cities where you can tap to pay at the turnstile. You're going to need to buy a ticket before you get on the subway. Every T station has a kiosk where you can pay for your fare. Let's take a look at what one of these kiosks looks like. If you're visiting from out of town, you're probably going to ask yourself, which type of ticket do I need to buy? The good news about Boston Subway is that going any distance on the T is the same price. So whether you're riding for 20 miles or whether you're just riding for one stop, it's going to be $2.40 one way. And if you're going to be riding a lot in one day or over the course of 7 days, there are 1 day and 7 day passes available to buy. A 1 day pass costs $11 and a 7 day pass costs $22.50. So to get your money's worth out of a 1 day pass, you're going to need to ride at least 5 times. And to get your money's worth out of a 7 day pass, you're going to need to ride at least 11 times. Paying for your ticket from this interface is fairly self-explanatory. If you're going one way, select the quick ticket, one ride subway option. If you're taking a round trip, 2 rides on the subway, select the quick ticket, 2 rides subway option. Note that ticket is good for 2 rides. You don't necessarily have to get back on at the T station that you got off at. You could apply the second ride to any other T station and you'll be able to get on. If you're looking for a 1 day or 7 day pass, select the buy a Charlie card, press here option and follow the directions to buy either of those passes. You can pay for your fare using card or cash. Once you've made your selection, simply wait for the machine to print your ticket and reach down into the tickets change drawer that the ticket is then printed in. Note, monthly passes are also available, but I'm focusing this video for folks who are from out of town because frankly, if you live here full time, you probably know what you're doing. So once you have your ticket, simply walk up to the turnstile. You'll see a little tap option to the right of a turnstile. Go ahead and tap your Charlie card on that. The turnstile will open and you walk right on through. If you're watching this video and you're active duty military, good news, you can ride the T for free. Simply show your ID to one of the T employees who will be wearing a red jacket or shirt. Unlike monthly Charlie cards, which are reloadable, these 1 day pass and 7 day pass Charlie tickets are not reloadable. So if you stay for longer than 1 day or 7 days, depending on which one you buy, you're just going to have to buy a new ticket for the next time that you ride. One final administrative note, you only have to scan your ticket on the way into the subway. You do not have to scan it on the way out. This means that if you've used all the rides on your ticket, you can go ahead and throw it away as soon as you're on the subway. Also, rides for 1-way or 2-way tickets last for 18 months after purchase. So if you buy a ticket for a second ride and don't use the second ride right away, you can definitely save it for later in your trip. Thus, there's no pressure to use these tickets right away. However, 1 day and 7 day passes are only good starting from the time at which you buy it. Also, while you're here, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of the time to hit on some basic etiquette when riding the T's, just some things that frankly are just little pet peeves of mine and other folks on Reddit. One, if you're on the escalator, please just stand on the right. A lot of times the T is backed up. You got to hit your train. People are trying to get to where they need to go. If you're not moving on the escalator, please just go ahead and stand on the right so folks who are in a hurry can move right by you on the left. Second, when you're boarding a train, wait for passengers who are getting off of the train to exit first before getting onto the train. This is very similar to elevator etiquette. The T is not automated. There are people driving the train. They're sticking their heads out the window and down the platform to make sure everyone who's trying to get on the train is able to get on. They're not going to leave without you. So let everyone exit, and even if there's a bit of a line, the train won't leave without you. Just make sure that you're constantly working to move to get onto the train, and the conductors will give you enough time to get on. Third, when you do get on the train, please take your backpack off, especially if it's a crowded train. I mean, look, if it's an empty train, who really cares? But during rush hour, the T can get absolutely packed. You are packed in there like sardines. Good luck if you're trying to get to a Red Sox game at peak hour on the Green Line. It can be very difficult at times. And if you're wearing your backpack, you're pretty much taking up the spot of another person. Please just take it off to make room for folks who are trying to get on the train so we can all get to where we need need to go. Fourth, if you do like standing instead of sitting on a train, totally cool, get it. Don't stand in front of the exits as folks are trying to get on and off. Again, this might seem intuitive, but it happens a lot. Obviously, there's times when the train is full, but as able, please try to not block an exit. There are gonna be certain lines, like for example, the orange line, where sometimes the door is open on the right, sometimes the door is open on the left. So in order for you to do this, if you like to stand near exits, near the doors of the train for quick exit, you're gonna have to switch from one side of the train to the other. Please just be courteous of folks who are trying to get on and off. The next thing I'm about to say is probably a little bit cold-hearted, but if you see someone running to get to the train, don't hold the door for them. Everyone on the train is trying to get somewhere, and there's going to be another train. I've been the person running up to the train, but look, if you can't get there in time, you just can't get there in time. It's not fun for that person, I get it, but everyone else on the train is trying to get somewhere. The T already struggles to stay on time. You can do a basic Google search to see how much that they've struggled to get a system that runs as expected. So please do not hold the doors for folks who you may see maybe 20 yards away. They can catch the next train. Another item, look, I've been this person before in a city where it's a new public transit. You don't know exactly how to get on. So do everything that you can to make getting onto the subway as smooth as possible, such as having your Charlie ticket ready as you approach the turnstiles. Sometimes during rush hour, there's limited turnstiles, lots of folks trying to get through, a train's approaching, people just want to get home. Make sure that you have your ticket out as you approach the turnstile, so that way you can just do a quick tap, get through the turnstile, and keep traffic flowing onto the train. If you're driving into Boston and want to take your dog on the T, the good news is that dogs who are not service dogs are allowed on the T during off-peak hours. Peak hours on the T are 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the weekdays. So outside of those windows, your dog is allowed on the T. They do need to be on a leash and they cannot take up a seat, but there is room for them to lay down under the seats. If you are bringing other small animals like cats or rabbits, they do need to be kept in pet carriers. If you're renting bikes to get around, bikes are also not allowed on the T during peak hours, and they're never allowed on the Green Line or the Mattapan trolley portion of the Red Line. When it comes to figuring out where you need to go on the T, I recommend doing this beforehand via Google Maps, which has the ability for you to see all of the T line and its stops before you get onto the subway. This will make it far easier than trying to navigate, but the good news is that each T station has a map with all of the different lines, so you can always try to reference that to the best of your ability, but I think it's just better to know before you go. Also, I know that Northeasterners and Bostoners might have a reputation for being a bit cold, but I found that that's not true. Honestly, if you're lost, like, just go ahead and ask someone for directions. People will more than gladly help get you pointed in the right direction. They might not do it with a smile on their face, but they'll definitely help you out. Riding the T really is an experience, so if you get lost, enjoy it. Turn it into an adventure. So this concludes my video on how to pay for the T, and thank you if you stuck around to listen to some of the etiquette minor pet peeves, but just some things that are on my mind as I ride the T. Please let me know in the comments if I missed any important aspects of paying for your fare on Boston's subway. Please like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe to see similar videos.